Now look how this deformity appears in a subject. This is Boutonniere's deformity or buttonhole deformity. Why buttonhole? Now think about this. Remember this extensor digitorum tendon? Central slip was crossing this joint and was being attached here like this. And the two lateral slips were winding onto the sides of this PIP and then reaching down there, merging with its opposite lateral band and together joining to insert onto the terminal phalange. Now, because there is a breach here, the fracture portion here, now because of splitting of the central tendon, you can see this proximal interphalangeal joint pops up between the two sleeves of the lateral band of extensor retinaculum. And this popping up of the PIP through the two lateral bands of extensor digitorum is called buttonhole deformity. This is the buttonhole. This appears to be a buttonhole. I hope you've understood. This appears to be a buttonhole. And because there is detachment of the central tendon, this joint pops up between the two lateral slips of extensor digitorum. This muscle is extensor digitorum. So popping up of the PIP between the two lateral slips of extensor digitorum on the dorsal side is called buttonhole deformity. This is another figure. You can appreciate the same deformity here. This also is Boutonniere's deformity, also called buttonhole deformity. As I told you that this deformity might be an occupational hazard due to an injury to the central tendon of extensor digitorum or might be due to rheumatoid arthritis. So one of the corrective measures is to provide a splint so as to restrict the movements at this joint. So there you're seeing this is one of the splints used to correct the Boutonniere's deformity. This is another type of splint. Again, you can see it's being used to correct Boutonniere's deformity. Whatever was the deformity, the splint is providing resistance to that deformity. It's restricting the joint movements here. You can see here at this point, there was hyperflexion. So they have restricted the hyperflexion and there was hyperextension at these two joints. So they have restricted is hyperextension.